I want you to imagine you are going on a journey. It's a long journey, 80 years long. When you start, your suitcase is empty and your heart is light. But as you walk, you start picking up things. You pick up a grudge from a friend who lied to you. You pick up the weight of a parent's expectation. You pick up the shame of a failed business, the fear of what the neighbors think, and the crushing need to be perfect. By the time you reach 40, you're limping. By 60, you're crawling. And by 80, most people are so buried under the weight of what they're carrying that they can't even see the horizon anymore. I'm 80 years old, and I've spent the last decade doing something I should have started at 30. I've been unpacking. I've been looking at every stone in my bag and asking, does this serve me, or is it just making me tired? Today, I want to show you what I finally had the courage to let go of. I want to help you lighten your load while you still have miles left to walk, because the painful truth is, the more you carry, the less you live. Let's talk about what you need to leave behind. The first thing I dropped was the heaviest, the need to be right. I spent 40 years of my life as a professional argument winner. I had a file in my brain for every time my wife was wrong, every time my brother was unfair, every time a colleague made a mistake. I thought being right was a form of power. But standing here at 80, I realized that being right is a very lonely victory. Every time I won an argument, I lost a piece of a connection. I traded intimacy for ego. I realized that most things we argue about, politics, household chores, minor slights, don't exist in the long run. They are just shadows. I let go of the need to have the last word. Now, when someone disagrees with me, I just smile and say, you might be right. And the peace that follows that sentence is worth more than any victory. Don't waste your life winning arguments that won't matter on your deathbed. Choose peace over being right. The second thing I let go of was the ghost of the man I thought I should have been. We all have him. That version of ourselves that finished the degree, stayed in shape, made the millions, or married the one that got away. I carried that ghost for decades. Every time I made a mistake, he was there to judge me. Every time I looked in the mirror, he was there to show me my flaws. I was competing with a shadow that didn't even exist. At 80, I finally told that ghost to leave. I realized that my life, the real messy, flawed, and sometimes disappointing life I actually lived, was the only one that mattered. I stopped grieving for the person I didn't become so I could finally meet the person I am. Stop comparing your reality to an imaginary version of perfection. The ideal you is a thief who steals the joy from the real you. In America, we are raised to live in a fishbowl. We worry about the car in the driveway, the title on the business card, and what the people at the church or the club think of us. I lived at least 30 years of my life for an audience that wasn't even paying attention. I made decisions based on how it would look. I stayed in jobs I hated and went to parties I loathed, all to maintain an image. But here is the secret you learn at 80. Nobody is thinking about you. They are all too busy worrying about what you think of them. I let go of the need for approval. It was like taking off a suit of armor I didn't know I was wearing. Suddenly, I could breathe. I could wear what I wanted, say what I felt, and spend my time how I pleased. If you are living for an audience, remember this. The theater is empty, and the only critic that matters is your own soul. I used to think that holding a grudge was a way to protect myself. If I stayed angry at you, you couldn't hurt me. Again. I kept my heart behind a wall of resentment. But at 80, I looked at those walls and realized I was the one trapped inside. Anger is a heavy, hot coal. You think you're going to throw it at someone else, but you're the one getting burned. I let go of the debts people owed me. I forgave the friend who disappeared when I was broke. I forgave the father who couldn't love me the way I needed. I didn't do it for them. I did it because I didn't want to bring their darkness into my final years. I wanted my heart to be light. Forgiveness isn't saying what they did was okay. It's saying I will no longer allow your actions to take up space in my head. Empty your heart of old enemies, or you'll have no room for new friends. I spent my middle years trying to control everything. I tried to control my children's futures. I tried to control my wife's moods. I tried to control the economy and the aging process itself. I lived in a state of constant anxiety because the world refused to follow my script. At 80, I've learned that life is a river, not a machine. You can't control the flow. You can only learn to swim. I let go of the steering wheel. I stopped trying to force the next chapter and started reading the page I'm currently on. When you let go of control, fear loses its grip. You realize that most of the things you worry about never happen, and the things that do happen are things you never saw coming anyway. Trust the process. Trust your ability to handle whatever comes. The only thing you can truly control is your own presence in this moment. I am 80 years old. My bag is almost empty now. I carry only the essentials: love, gratitude, and a few good memories. And I have never felt more powerful. If you are listening to this and you feel tired, if you feel like the weight of your life is too much to bear, start unpacking. Drop the grudge. Drop the image. Drop the need to be right. Drop the ghost of who you were supposed to be. You don't need all that stuff to reach the end. In fact, the less you have, the more you'll enjoy the walk. Thank you for letting an old man share his lightness with you. If this message helped you drop just one stone today, please subscribe and stay with us. Like this video to help it find someone who is struggling under a heavy load. And please tell me in the comments, what is the one thing you are letting go of today? I want to see you walk a little lighter. God bless and travel light.